Hiya kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. What I'm working on today is a yard machine 21-inch 650 engine series 190cc. This happens to be 2006, so I had brought a group of running mowers over to my brother's for staging for this season, and I brought back four. Um, The other three are all drive, two front wheel drive and a rear wheel drive. This was the only one that was a standard pusher with just the bag. So I've already torn it down, gone through the carb, and we'll discuss what I did and what I still need to do. So I'll give you the MTD number, the 11 Alpha dash 429 Romeo 729 MTD Corp, beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. The serial is 1 Frank 286 Kilo 20689. So this is just a bagger mulch. There's no side chute on this deck. Take the bag off and it turns it into a mulch. Yeah, they even put it up here. Bagger slash mulcher. So where can I put you? Maybe right here. I'll do that, and I'll give you the engine number first, and then we'll start putting this thing back together. So this is my second project today. I'm having a great day, happy to be alive. Hopefully you guys are feeling the same way. So I used my brush and got rid of some of the surface rust on this thing. Let me put a little oil on these numbers to bring them out. Okay, we got the 123 Kilo 020193 Echo 1 06 0516 Frank Alpha. So 5th month, 16th day of 2006 on this yard machine is what they're calling this fine machine. So first thing was first is I took a whiff of the gas that was in it. It was stale. We have a little ratty rat there. So this thing was sitting a while, stale gas. So I blew the tank out, put it on the CRV, let the sun dry it out the rest of the way so we have no condensation in the tank. So that was good. Sun's been beating down on me, but it feels good. The sunshine is fantastic today. So went around, cleaned off the coil, flywheel, took the coil off, cleaned that up, some surface rust. We got a business card to gap this thing when we're ready to put it together. This is a priming unit, as you can figure out by the linkages. So we got to go through and put a new primer bulb on it, and I got some tape here on the backing plate. So let's shift you over here, I guess, and we'll do the rest of the work here, and then I'll shift you back. Yeah, I'll do something like this. So with the recent Chinese tariffs, I've got to reuse this air filter. I can't afford to pass on any more expense to my customers, so this is going to have to suffice. So we're going to reuse that. So the primer bulb, the nipple was worn off and it's starting to crack. So I got a 20 pack of nipples here. We're just going to get a another one and throw it on. So don't be confused. There's other smaller type primer bulbs for the Pulsajet Spirit or Classic style. This Quantum has a little more height to it, and it's got the nipple. The other ones are smooth. So we're going to put that on. Got a new gasket. Gasket disintegrated. And another bowl gasket. We'll discuss the bowl gasket situation. American Airlines is making a lot of noise. So we'll do the bowl gasket. I'll put all this back together. So since this is a priming carb, you'll have a priming carb, or you'll have a carb with an automatic choke on these Quantums, and there'll be another wafer here with the air vane attachment. Those have a different style carb for the bowl gasket. I don't know why they didn't standardize them, but the other style has a taller or wider gasket. If you go to put it on this one, it's going to be too high, it's going to leak. So don't get your bowl gaskets mixed up. There's two different styles. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, because I have some more of these thinner or less wide gaskets on the way. So let's put the carb together. There was a little bit of watery crap down there. You can still see the stain right there. Half of the bowl gasket stayed here and the other half stayed on the carb, so I got rid of all of that. Oh, I also wanted to mention I like these older style carbs with the all metal needles. The newer ones are metal up to there, and then you have a plastic, a rubber tip. And if you let the rubber tip style sit a long time, crud builds up from the gas, and they end up popping off the needles. So I like these older style needles. So let's get busy with this. Yeah, you can see it all. So cleaned up the white crusties all along the carb here where this gasket sits, to make sure I've got a nice clean surface to work with. So I'll deal with putting this down. If it pops off again, I'll do it last. Okay, time for the bowl. Let me just blast some air on this. I'm going to thread my needle and let gravity work for me. Stick it in the hole. Grab my hinge pin, put that in. And test it. Blew some air in and move the float up and down so we have a good seal. I'm going to reuse the bowl gasket. I didn't see anything wrong with that. The jet here was kind of blocked up with snot as well, so I poked that through with a wire. 1/2-inch socket on this nut. Hand tighten it and I'll just snug it up. Okay, that's good. So that's that. Let's work on the primer bulb. I'm going to line up my two catches with the slots they go in, and I had a socket here that I was going to use, an 11/16 socket. I'm just going to push down on the socket until the clips pop out here. Okay, so that just clicked into place. That spread out where it should have, and that one spread out. These aren't very much. $3 or $4 for a 20 pack. Okay, so I just took some painter's tape. This is my little trick on this air passage. Put some painter's tape down. Make sure you don't block up your air hole here. So something like that. If you can see blue tape, that's no good. You want that fully open. Okay, so I think whatever we're dealing with here is complete. Let's shift you over. We're going to do the coil gap. So all this stuff here is ready to go. So it's a 1/4 inch socket for these two. We got to check the plug too. I haven't checked that. Wire brush it or kind of have a look in the cylinder, see what it looks like. FedEx ground, squeaky brakes. He's stopping across the street. Those guys are all independent contractors, so they're responsible for maintenance of the trucks, their own insurance, uniforms. If their truck's down, then they're SOL. They rent a rider to get by until the truck's fixed. They can't afford not to deliver every day. I got some parts coming in, but I don't think it's from them. It's from the Brotherhood of the Brown, but that'll be in a couple days. Okay, I've got a piece of string up on the bail bar to open up my linkage here so I could mess with this. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's look at the plug. Okay, kind of carbony, a lot of carbon, so running rich, meaning more fuel than air. So I wonder why it was getting more fuel than air. Couldn't tell you. Have no idea why it was lacking airflow. but we're going to reuse that one. We just gotta, okay, so I guess we can go to the carb, get all this set up. We'll do that. So I didn't try this on nitro. I just got it up on the bench and spun the blade here underneath, and it spun 360, so I just carried on. There could be a hole in the cylinder, but I don't think so. Okay. It appears he couldn't find his package. He was in the back scrambling around and just gave up and went down to the next house. Now he's looking again. Oh, he found it this time. So my neighbor directly across the street from me is going to be bummed. Probably shows out for delivery and he can't find it. There's always tomorrow, right? Hope I'm not blocking you. We'll go back and forth. A couple of turns there. Back here. A couple of turns. Little snuggy, snuggy, and snuggy, snuggy. So we're good here on the carb. Coils gap the way I like it. What else can we do? I guess we'll do recoil, tank, and then our final backing plate deal. Okay. A little squirty squirt here for the next technician. In case he's got to remove the nut, he'll be happy with me. I've already oiled up the recoil. Gave that a good dose for the amigos. It's not a bad looking machine. Still has the barcode sticker on it. It would appear that they took care of this thing for a reasonable amount of time. I don't know what happened. Maybe using 10% ethanol. Let it sit from October to May, and then it was DOA. Oh, get my sheet metal squared away. Thanks, Clucky. If I hadn't checked in on you, I would have tightened it down without fixing that. So thanks. You've been quite the help today. Tighten down the head bolts. Crisscross applesauce. They were pretty tight. There was nothing that was excessively loose. Okay, so this one's tight. I'm just gonna switch screws. Sometimes that makes a difference. If one goes in hard, switch them out with the neighbor. Okay, so it might be a screw issue because it's I don't want to strip it, so I'm just gonna keep manipulating it. That's why you don't crank down one. You just get them started until they all start, because sometimes you gotta do some shifting. I'm gonna get a bit, put a bit on it, and try to do it by hand. There we go. Must have been a small burr. Putting a little torque on it brought it into compliance. We still got to check oil. I just move the tube off to the side. Okay, I'll put the bit on the impact for the recoil. Let me just tighten this 8 down on the oil dipstick so I don't forget it. Okay, that's ready. Impact. Okay, this is coming along nicely. Tanky. Get that all lined up. Start with this bottom screw with the spacer. Okay, that's started. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to dip these 3 in a little bit of oil. Just so they go in a little easier. 8s. Put the 8 on a hand driver. Get them snug. Then going to use my 1/4-inch ratchet to finish up the job. Okay. Just snuggy wuggy. Before I forget, let me get the bottom. Which is a 10. Okay. Hose clamp, I'll do that. Then we'll put the backing plate on. It's always tight in here with the breather tube. Always got to fight with the hose clamp. Maybe I'll move it up a little bit more. Something like that. Okay. Where's the backing plate? Here it is. So I've got to put my breather tube on. We got the new primer. And then my painter's tape. So we can gas this thing and see if it's priming. I hope it primes. You know what I mean? Same thing with these 3 screws. I'm going to dip them in some used oil. So it's more critical on these priming backing plates that everything's nice and easy, even, so we have good priming action. Not so much with the automatic choke with the spring and the air vane. We don't want any air gaps here. We need as much pressure pushing fuel to prime it as possible. So we'll tighten this up nice and even. I'll get them all snug first. Okay, this will be the final pass. Quarter, quarter, quarter. Okay, I'll go with that. Okay, Clucky, I don't want you to get a petrol bath, so I'm going to put you there. Ratty, since you caused me grief on this cap, you've got to supervise. Hopefully there's not a rat's nest in the grass bag. Haven't had that happen, but it's possible. They go under the machine up into the grass bag. It'd be nice and comfortable in there. They'd have bedding material ready to go to continue the show. Okay, I'm not going to be rude and cut in front of you, so I'll go behind and then we'll prime it. Can you see the brass emulsion tube right there? I don't know if I can hold it steady, but maybe I can't. Is it burping? Yeah, it's burping. See the fuel pouring out? So, perfect. Perfect burpage on that. I'll leave the beauty ring off for the moment, just to see. Are we leaking? Nope. Drier than a baby's bottom. I'm happy. Happy pappy. Okay, let's drop this turd to the ground. We'll check oil. Maybe flip it over. To look at blade condition. Okay, set you up right here. Another project I'm working on. We'll discuss this Turo at some point. Haven't had a Tecumseh powered Turo in a while. I figured, what the heck? It's got to be fixed eventually. It wasn't jumping out at me as a fun project. Oh, this is this is old. I mean, oil is old, but I mean, it's been in this machine a long time. Overfilled, may smoke, but geez, I thought they took care of this thing. The outside of it, they did, but the maintenance, bad oil and a clean filter. Okay, what's in the bag? Little bit of clippings. Not too bad. It's not full. Let's turn it over. Okay. Kind of cobwebby. A lot of surface rust. Heck of a lot of surface rust. I may take some old oil and just do a cheap poor man's undercoating. Try to save this deck. Coat it with some used oil. Blade's fine. I can sharpen that up. Probably the second or third blade, I'm guessing. Still has some paint on it. So I think this one will work out fine. Remember when they had the drain plugs underneath? Remember those days? Okay, since I primed it a few times with you and then turned it on its side, all that fuel went down into the intake, so I'm not going to prime it anymore. I'm just going to pull and go. Maybe take the string off the bail bar in case I got to do an emergency stop. I'm not fiddling with untying string. Oh, I also went ahead and greased up or oiled up the cable. Safety brake cable had a bunch of restriction in it, so hopefully it's good enough. One pull Annie. Okay, the kill wasn't grounding out. I could see sparks here, and I kept moving the handle up and down, back and forth, and maybe wore the rust away. But started on one pull. So I kept releasing the cable, and it wasn't grounding out. I could see sparks here. Did it, I think, 3 times, and it finally killed the coil. So that was a one-shot Annie. I'm happy with this 06. Now that the engine's warm, I'll go ahead and drain that oil out right now. And then while the unit's on the side, remove the blade, touch that up, and this will be on the way to complete. Let me just see if that cured the grounding issue. I'm going to start it again. Yeah, that's good. I was about to retie the handle and come over and pull the plug wire to kill it, but was able to get it to work as it should. Anyway, appreciate you guys coming out, checking out the crap box today. Turned out well. I'm happy. Put some parts on it, do it a little cleany. So I got another one here ready for season. Since you're up and about, I'll show you what I brought home. Another Craftsman 675. So this is the automatic choke, so we'll deal with that. Oh, the hose is off. We got a Honda rear wheel drive and another 725, but this one here I shouldn't have taken it. The whole front end is rotted off, so if I do anything with this, it's just going to get the engine running and let it sit on the deck. The deck is shot. There's no support up here. The rust goes all the way through here. You can see. So two more Quantums and a Honda is what's going to be next. I just did one of these Hondas, put some new rear wheels on it after I went through the carb. That's in the ready staging area. The tread here on this one, there's still some drive tread left. So if I can get this one running, I just go out the door with what's on here. But this one here rolled and moved, and I don't see any deck issues. The deck is solid. There's no rust through. And drive tread here is good. So this should probably be my next victim, the Crafty with the 675. Okay, that's it. Let me get the oil changed in this, do the blade, and I'll degrease this thing, let it air dry, and we'll be done. See you. Tip your waitress and waitstaff. Adios, amigos.